This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, we thought Democrats in the media were rooting for Iran against the United States of America, and they are. Wait till they hear the news this morning, the latest breaking news out of Tehran or out of Washington. This made me laugh out loud. Get ready for a whole new surge in support for our enemies in Iran. They don't care that they're killing their own people, that those poor female soccer players will probably all be executed when they get back to Iran. They don't care. It's Trump. Got to root against Trump. Got to root against the United States of America. Well, here we go. New York Post this morning. President Trump was stunned to learn last week that U.S. intelligence indicates new Iranian Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei may be gay, and that his father, the late Ayatollah Khamenei, feared his suitability to rule the Islamic Republic for that reason. Trump couldn't contain his surprise and laughed out loud when he was briefed on the intel, according to sources. So, just to recap, you think you've had a bad week or two? You think maybe, you're having a little run of bad luck? Check out what Mojtaba has lived through the last 2 weeks. Let's see. His father died, his mother, his wife, his son. He apparently had at least one leg blown off. He's in a coma. We found out that he made many, many trips to the UK to be treated for erectile dysfunction. And now we learn he's gay, which, there's nothing wrong with that. Unless you live in Iran, then you get executed. So I wonder how often he watched, his dear friends in the LGBT community get prosecuted, get executed for living their true self. Well, apparently Mojtaba, he can't live his true self. You can't be supreme leader and be gay. But just wait, what is Chris Murphy going to say now? What is Chuck Schumer and all the rest of the Democrats who are rooting against the United States? Yes, they are. When this war first began almost 3 weeks ago, I said, everybody's going to get behind the effort, even if you don't agree with it, even if you have a problem with us, once again, getting involved in a war in the Middle East. Once it begins, that's irrelevant. You get behind the United States, you get behind the troops. Well, Democrats don't feel that way. They hate Trump so much. They will lie. They will look you in the eye and tell you it's a disaster. It's gone sideways. We are losing this war. That's where we are. That's how partisan this country is at this point. That's how crazy the Democrats are. They're so full of hate and rage for Trump that they're hoping that this war doesn't go well. They're lying to you. You can disagree with the war. Lots of people on both sides of the aisle disagree that this is protecting the United States, that this is America first, that this is protecting American interest. That's fine. We'll have that debate. We have had that debate. But when you stand there and say, we're losing, when we can see with our own eyes, when we hear briefings daily from the Pentagon, we're not losing. It's not going poorly. They're lying to you. And then they say there's no clear objective. I've heard one Democrat after another, one media hack after another tell you there's no clear objective. You can't say that. It's not true. I've never seen a war with a more clear objective. Trump laid out 4 bullet points. Caroline Leavitt has repeated them. Hegseth has repeated them. Admiral Brad Cooper has repeated them every day. Here are the objectives. Stop them from developing their nuclear program, destroy their ballistic missile capability, which is the reason which allows them to protect their nuclear program, stop their proxies, terror proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, open up the Strait of Hormuz, end this evil, violent regime that has killed so many Americans. I asked this question. I've asked it before. I'll ask it again. They bombed the Marine barracks in Lebanon in 1983, killing 241 Americans. What if we started this attack, this war effort, like the next day, everyone would be on board. They'd say they killed 241 Americans while they slept. Let's get them. No one would have a problem with that, not even Democrats. But we waited, 45 years to conduct this operation. Just look at it that way. We waited. We were slow to react. But what they have done to the United States for 47 years is one act of war after another. And finally, and at last, we have a president who was willing to respond. We've had lots of presidents vow that they would do something. We played you the clips from Biden and Obama and Clinton and Bush and you name it. They've all said, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, they've all said, we must stop Iran from developing nukes. We must stop Iran from supporting their proxies who are killing Americans. And yet Democrats say this is unnecessary. This is bellicose. This is not going well. There are a lot of candidates for this honor of being the most despicable, traitorous piece of garbage in Washington, a lot of them. None is in Chris Murphy's class. Chris Murphy is a senator from Connecticut, and he is an absolute piece of garbage. I don't know how else to say it. He is doing his best to undermine the war effort. Is it part of his presidential campaign for 2028? Maybe. Or maybe he's just an absolute scumbag. Maybe both. Maybe he wants to be president and he's a scumbag, but he's on the Intelligence Committee. He goes into private, confidential briefings, and then he comes out and says, we're losing. This is a disaster. A disaster? I mean, again, you can be against this. You can fight this. You can make your case against it. If it's so bad, do you have to lie to the American public? Do you have to do what you can to demoralize the troops, to embolden our enemy? He is just so despicable. If he came out of an intelligence briefing and told you things, confidential things, classified things, that'd be bad enough. He comes out of the briefing and lies to you. Here is this absolute scumbag the other day after leaving a classified briefing. Go ahead.
This is a disaster of epic proportion. I just came from a 2-hour closed-door classified briefing on the war. It just confirmed to me it's totally incoherent. We are not going to be able to achieve any of our stated objectives. But I mention it because it's another closed-door briefing. We have still not yet heard a full explanation as to why this is necessary. We still have had no hearings in front of Congress that the public can see. And I think that's pretty simple, because if the president did what the Constitution says, come to Congress to get authorization for this war, he wouldn't get it. Because the American people would demand that their member of Congress, their senator, whether they be a Republican or Democrat, vote no, because this is a disaster of epic proportions. It's already getting Americans killed. It's driving up prices here at home. Harder line leadership, more antithetical to U.S. interests, are strengthening inside Iran. And there's really no way that we're going to be able to destroy their nuclear program, because most of it is buried underground, unless we mount a ground invasion, which would be even more disastrous and more unpopular. This has just been a debacle.
A debacle, a disaster. Really? I mean, it's incredible. You can stand there and say you oppose the decision to go in. You can oppose the president. You can hate him all you want. But is that really the message you want to send to the troops, to the world? That it's a disaster, a debacle of epic proportion? By what metric? We heard today, again, from Admiral Brad Cooper, and every day they come out there, they got video, they explain what they're doing. Here's the latest. According to the Admiral, we've sunk 100 vessels. I'm not sure how many they have left. We, as you know, bombed Karg Island. We didn't hit the oil infrastructure. We didn't hit the refineries. We hit targets on Karg Island, 90 targets, hit them all, blew them up. Didn't lose an American. I mean, obviously, we've lost a few Americans. That is tragic. That's not good. But we've achieved our military objectives every day with the help of Israel and the IDF. We've killed their entire leadership. We killed the Ayatollah on day one. We killed, 88 other leaders in the regime. Where's the disaster? Yes, oil prices went up. We knew they would. Stock market went down. We knew it would. Trump has said it over and over. Again, they list those 4 objectives and they're checking them off. Does he really think we haven't set back their nuclear program? And does he really think we're not going to continue to do this to achieve our objectives? How is it a disaster? It isn't. And by the way, that scumbag would say the exact opposite if there were a Democrat in the White House. If Joe Biden or Kamala Harris ordered this operation, he would say it's going great. These people are so despicable. There is no limit. There is no depth to the level they will sink to attempt to undermine the president and the troops and the war effort. Here's Admiral Cooper this morning. Tell me when you get to the disaster part. Just, Chris Murphy, let me know, or maybe you think he's lying. He just objectively runs down each and everything they've accomplished each day. And he brings receipts, he brings video, he explains to you what we're doing, how it's going. By no definition is it a disaster. Go ahead.
Another update on Operation Epic Fury. First, I want to remember and honor our fallen warriors who made the ultimate sacrifice in the KC-135 refueling aircraft incident last week. We hold their memories and their families, their friends and their teammates in our prayers. Their selfless service and dedication hardens our resolve. For 16 days, we've delivered overwhelming firepower deep into Iran. This past Friday, U.S. forces executed a large-scale precision strike on Karg Island, destroying more than 90 Iranian military targets, including storage bunkers for naval mines and missiles and other military infrastructure. To date, our Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps aviators have collectively flown more than 6,000 combat flights, demonstrating the unmatched capability of America's joint force as we maintain air superiority over Iranian skies. We continue to remain centered on our military objectives. These are well-defined and include eliminating Iran's ballistic missiles, drones, and naval threats. It's one thing to defend by striking launchers and intercepting missiles and drones, but it's another thing to eliminate the wider manufacturing apparatus behind them. And we are doing that today. We've talked about it in concept. Here's what it looks like in reality. Let me show you, for the first time, a few examples of how we are dismantling Iran's defense industrial base, which will prevent threats to the region into the future. Here, you see a photo from March 1st of a naval drone storage facility located near the Strait of Hormuz. This is the same location 8 days later, completely destroyed. Next, here's a photo taken of an attack drone production factory in Tehran on March 5th. Here's that same factory 6 days later after a devastating barrage of U.S. airstrikes. And finally, the Yazdi military depot, pictured here last month. These 8 buildings are part of the IRGC's missile command infrastructure and are used to produce light and heavyweight torpedoes. Now, here's that same military depot just last week, or what's left of it. U.S. and partner strikes are doing exactly what they are intended to do: deliver on very clear military objectives to eliminate Iran's ability to project power against Americans and against its neighbors. We're also zero.
The guy goes on for, I don't know, half hour. When do we get to the disaster part? Chris Murphy, you scumbag. God, I hate that guy. I think he is unseated Liz Warren and Ayanna Pressley and Ed Markey for me. There's just no one who is more despicable and disgusting than that man, telling you that what we're doing is a disaster. Again, you can oppose it, and maybe you'll be right. Maybe it'll go really bad today. Maybe tomorrow they'll sink an aircraft carrier. We have lost 13 brave service members. That's tragic. We lost 6 in that refueling aircraft that crashed. That is tragic. But if you look at the objectives Trump set out, Hegs have set out, we're checking them off. We're doing it. They're not going to recover. They don't even have a leader, unless you count the one-legged gay guy who's in a coma. Is he going to lead this counterattack against us? They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. Carg Island has been destroyed except for the oil. How is that a disaster? Could we follow up on that? Chris Murphy, could you explain that we have no clear objectives? Again, that's a lie. You can oppose them. You could say we don't want to destroy their nukes. You could say we don't want to kill their leaders, but we've done it. He said we're going to do it, and we've done it. Have we won the war? No, we have not won the war. We will, and hopefully we'll get out sooner rather than later. You can't call it a forever war, an endless war if it ends in the next week or two, can you? And then what? Who knows? Maybe it'll be chaos. Maybe it'll be a civil war. Maybe there'll be millions of refugees, and we'll look back and say it was another disaster. But you can't say that now. These people are just beneath contempt, and they hate the fact that it's going well. They can't stand it. There's a few places you can find sort of objective analysis. Here's one, the Institute for the Study of War. I believe pretty objective analysis. Here's their special report from the Institute of Study of War. The war in Iran is currently in a phase in which the military trajectory is relatively positive. The U.S. is steadily destroying Iran's ability to use its most essential tool in the war, drone and missile attacks, which in turn underpin the entire Iranian strategy. Iran has done some damage to the U.S. forces, and it is still firing drones and missiles, though the overall attack rate is slowly decreasing. These attacks pale in comparison to the major attacks Iran sought to conduct in an existential war and have caused neither operationally significant damage nor widespread casualties. The U.S.-Israeli combined force will need time to achieve its military objectives and prevent Iran from inflicting further political and economic pain upon the United States and its allies in the region, but the campaign remains incomplete. It is too soon to forecast an outcome. Declaring it an operational failure is unquestionably premature. Of course it is. And maybe my memory is not the greatest, but I don't remember a war that this country has conducted, has been in, where one party just flat out did everything it could to undermine the war effort. I mean, when George Bush went into Iraq to get the weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist, I don't remember Democrats going on TV, cable news, and saying, this is a disaster. It ended up, it wasn't so great because we stayed there. But I think when you're 3 weeks into a war, to have one party, hell, much of the mainstream media cheering, rooting, begging, pleading for the enemy to prevail, it's a sickness, man, what we're living through right now. It is insane. And these people should be ashamed. All right, speaking of, give me that New York City video. This is the base of the Democrat Party at this point. Here is a video in New York City over the weekend. It's hard to believe this is actually happening. This is obviously the result of our open borders, our insane immigration policy, both legal and illegal. A rally in New York City, right down the street from Ground Zero, where the World Trade Center once stood. It's a pretty big rally, cheering for Iran. These are Democrats. These are Chris Murphy's people. These are MSNBC and CNN viewers taken to the streets of New York City in their cafes, waving Iranian flags and cheering, not just for Iran, but for Hezbollah and Hamas, Iran's proxies, right down the middle of the street. I'm a little confused. How is that not treason? How is that not, material support for terrorism? How are these people allowed to do this? It's just disgusting. Let's listen as they chant their support for Hezbollah, who killed, 240 Marines and many, many other Americans, and Hamas, who slaughtered 1,200 innocent people, including, I believe, 46 Americans on October 7th. Go ahead.
Say it clear. We support Hezbollah here. We support Hezbollah here. Say it loud and say it clear. Say it loud and say it clear. We support Hezbollah here. We support Hezbollah here. Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear. We support Hamas here. We support Hamas here. Say it loud and say it clear. Say it loud and say it clear. We support Hamas here. We support Hamas here. New York City, you will see. New York City, you will see. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
Oh, my God. We support Hezbollah and Hamas, not quietly in the shadows, walking down, whatever that is, 42nd Street, walking down, Park Avenue in New York City, saying we support Hezbollah, we support Hamas, who have killed thousands of Americans, and they're doing it in America. That is just disgusting. Couldn't we at least, throw some things at them? Couldn't there be a good counter protest? There's a video. I'm going to send you this video, Ironhead. And I wonder how many people have seen this. A video of a Islamic State terrorist talking to a reporter, describing how he killed 900 people, raped 50 young girls and 200 women, smiling while he describes it. They support him in New York City, in Times Square. They support the guys, Hamas monsters, who went into Israel on October 7th, raped, killed babies. Yeah, killed babies, raped women. Yep, they did. We know it's on video. I know there's a big surge in these conspiracy theorists who think October 7th. I know the mayor's wife in New York City loved it. I know she rooted it on. She loved October 7th, watching all those young women get raped and murdered. We have that in America right now. That's the difference. It feels like the difference to me in the Iraq War, the Gulf War, is we didn't have this many people in our country rooting against us. Again, the result of our insane immigration policy. Here's the video. We'll just play a clip of him calmly describing how he killed 900 people and raped young girls. It's in whatever Arabic, but just play a quick clip.
من قتلتهم ذبحتهم قارب 900
900. المهم من صار الاقتحام على سنجار، كنت انت مشارك بالاقتحام؟
بس مو بدايته، الشطرات وهميه، حجتنا شنو الشطر؟ الشطرات وهميه، نشيل 30-40 نفس بالسياره، نخليهم بصفحه، نخلي السجون، ونخليهم بصفحه.
Finish them and kill them.
طبعا انا من اقاربي اختفوا، ما عاد لهم وجود. يعني لحظات حط نفسك بمكان هذا الشخص اللي ذبحته، شنو كان شعوره؟
شعوره كان يقول لا تقتلني، ليش تقتلني؟ يا دم تقتلني.
Why are you killing me? What have I done?
How many women, how many children do you think you've raped over the years?
لهاي الفترة بقيت وياهم تقريبا يقارب
15 to 16-year-olds.
بالنسبة لنا كانوا صغار.
Not 50.
ولا كبار تقريبا يقارب فوق ال 200.
Older ones,
What's going through
200.
your mind? Talk to me. Tell me what you're thinking when these girls are screaming for you to stop and you don't, you continue.
والله هي حالة ممارسة الجنس، يعني كل شخص ما يقدر ينفصل عن هذا الشيء، يعني هي إرادة قوية. يعني رغم هالشيء قد كانت تمنعني من هذا الشيء، يعني بس من أخلص وياها، يعني أشوفها تمشي، يعني انكسر قلبي عليها.
لو ان قلبك طيب.
All right, enough of this scumbag. That, I'm just surprised he hasn't gotten a green card hasn't gotten naturalized in this country. That's the kind of people, I mean, let's be honest, we're importing terrorists. We've been importing terrorists for years. We just saw one in Michigan. We saw one at Old Dominion. We're importing terrorists. We're going to get to that because it's even crazier than you think, that the situation in Virginia and Michigan, and we'll get to how the media covered it. And we got to get to the wildest story of the day, of the week, of the year. Was Tucker Carlson working for Iran? Was he supplying information to the Ayatollah? That's a real question we heard over the weekend. And did Trump set him up? I'll try to lay out this story, but it's absolutely insane. And I don't know how it's going to play out. But Tucker seems a little nervous. He's being investigated for, I don't know what you call it, treason. And I think I can't explain it. I don't know what happened to Tucker. I don't know what he's doing, but man, this is nuts. We'll get to that. And we'll get to the Oscars. Yeah, the Oscars. And as I predicted, a really awful movie won Best Picture. Big surprise there. There was a bunch of awful movies nominated, but this movie sucks. And it won, of course, Best Picture. But the important thing is, it was diverse. As long as it's diverse, that's all that matters. We'll get to that and more. But first,
Excuse me.
you don't always realize how bad your sheets have gotten until you finally replace them. If your sheets are piling, thinning, slipping, or overheating, that's your sign that it's time to upgrade to Boll & Branch. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and designed to hold their shape, stay breathable, and feel luxuriously soft night after night. You'll fall asleep faster, stay comfortable all night, and actually notice the difference the moment you get into bed. And they don't wear out. They get softer after every wash. The fastest and simplest way to upgrade your sleep is replacing your sheets. It's a one-time upgrade that pays off every single night. No setup, no habit building, no guesswork, just noticeably better sleep. They're buttery soft from the start, get softer over time, and help you relax the moment you lie down. You'll notice the Boll & Branch difference immediately. Boll & Branch sheets are made from moments of unmatched comfort. This is sleep you don't compromise on. We got our new Boll & Branch sheets, and I can tell you, I enjoy going to bed. Didn't know I needed them, but I love my new Boll & Branch sheets. Sleep sound with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/Gerry. Code word Gerry. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/Gerry. Code word Gerry to unlock 15%. Exclusions apply. How did you know a terrorist, naturalized American citizen, drove a vehicle into a Jewish preschool last week in Michigan? His goal, to kill 140 Jewish children, American Jewish children, between the age of 5, 6, little kids. His goal was to blow up the synagogue, the biggest synagogue in Michigan, and kill 140 children. Mohammed Ghazali, 41 years old, was shot dead after driving his vehicle into Temple, Israel in West Bloomfield. We learned over the weekend, we were told the other day, that he had family members who were killed in an IDF strike in Lebanon. Oh, so he was grieving. He was hurting. Family members died in war in Lebanon. Well, we got an update over the weekend. His brother died. His brother was a high-ranking commander in Hezbollah. So his brother was a terrorist. He was terrorist adjacent. He's probably a terrorist. His reaction to an airstrike in Lebanon was, let's kill a bunch of little kids in the United States. This is where I lose my mind every time. You blaming little kids in Michigan for a war 6,000 miles away. You're upset at Israel and what they did to your Hezbollah brother. So you're going to kill little kids. What does the media do? They present it as like a result. This is like a unintended consequence of war. There's going to be terrorist attacks in our country. Don't you understand? This guy was upset. His brother died. So how did he react? Tried to kill little kids. Can we all agree that's utter madness, depravity? That's evil? I mean, are we really going to equate the death of his terrorist brother, who probably killed innocent people, with an attempt to kill little kids in Michigan? These people are insane. Here's what Dave Smith, famous libertarian comedian, who's called this country, the United States, his country, the biggest terrorist organization in the world, calls Israel terrorist state. He writes, Islam is such a violent religion. Every time we murder a bunch of their children, they try to kill some of us. Disgusting. So what happened over in the Middle East is war. There were casualties. People died, including his commander, Hezbollah commander brother. So we deserved it? Is that what we're saying? So if we get involved in the Middle East, we have to expect Muslim terrorists to drive their cars into synagogues and try to kill kids? Give me the NPR headline. Here's how NPR covered it. Again, his brother is a terrorist, was a terrorist, eliminated by the IDF. That's a good thing. We like when they eliminate terrorists. Headline of the NPR story: in a small Lebanese town, grief and fear follow the Michigan synagogue attack. Grief? Because he died? Because Muhammad died while trying to kill little kids? Yeah, there's your byline. Hadil al-Shalki is your author of that piece, who went to Lebanon, to his hometown, to feel the grief, to empathize with the real victims, the people in his hometown of Lebanon, not the kids who were almost blown up, burned alive. This is sick, what we're living through. An update on the other terror attack at ODU, Old Dominion, where the other Mohammed Jola, went in and killed that amazing guy, that American hero, Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw. Two quick things to add to this story. One, they're going to ban guns in Virginia. Not all guns, but they're taking a big step to eliminate assault rifles and large capacity magazines because of this shooting. They actually had a politician, a rep, I believe, in Virginia, do a speech and said, we need gun control. We need to stop the guns. And it proves you don't need a gun, because the heroic cadets, took down the shooter and killed him, stabbed him to death. A bunch of cadets after he killed their instructor. Here's the craziest thing I've learned. He went to Old Dominion after he was convicted of terrorism, of supplying material support to ISIS. So he's an ISIS terrorist who went to Old Dominion, got into Old Dominion. You know why? Because it's illegal for the university to ask about that conviction. It was illegal for them to say, have you ever been convicted of, terrorism? They didn't know. They didn't know he was a terrorist, because Democrats in Virginia made it a crime for them to ask. We are committing suicide in this country in the name of empathy and tolerance. It's obvious. We talk about it every day. This could be the best example yet. The reaction from Democrats, from the Soros-funded DA, was blame the gun. Blame the gun, not the terrorist who worked with ISIS and did 8 years in prison. He got out early, for good behavior. And we didn't remove him from this country. We didn't kick him out of our country. We didn't denaturalize and deport a terrorist. Instead, we accepted him into our university, Old Dominion, where he went on to kill our ROTC instructor. Yes. Here's New York Times covering the Michigan synagogue attacker, the Muslim terrorist, again, who tried to kill 140 kids. Here's your headline. This is real. You have to double check now with the NPR and the New York Times. Is it real? The Michigan synagogue attacker was a quiet restaurant worker. Oh, man, just a quiet restaurant worker trying to make a living who tried to kill a bunch of kids because he wasn't happy with what was happening in the war in the Middle East. Same as we lived through last year, where they blamed Jewish students at Yale and Columbia, Harvard and UCLA, blamed the kids, 18, 19-year-old kids trying to get an education. It's their fault that there's a war in the Middle East. It's their fault that we're killing terrorists and toppling a terrorist regime. Let's blame Jewish kids. It's sick. And it's amazing to me we can't all agree that that is utter madness. The question I get more than anything these days is, what the hell happened to Tucker? I don't have an answer. I don't know. Let me just say that I take a backseat to no one when it comes to just admiring Tucker Carlson. If you weren't around in 2020 in COVID, by the way, it's the 6-year anniversary of 2 weeks to stop the spread. 6 years since this country lost its mind, since millions and millions of Americans just rolled over and submitted and masked up and stayed home and scolded their neighbors and stood on little stickers at CVS to stop the spread. Since we listened to that evil Dr. Fauci, who shut down the country, 6 years since we did this crazy thing. I mean, when you look back, it's hard to believe. We just submitted. We just gave in. It said, you tell us, Fauci, tell us, Dr. Birx, tell us what we have to do today. Oh, stay inside. Oh, mask up. Wash our vegetables. Yes, we'll do it. We'll do it. Get a shot. Get 2 shots. Get 3 shots. Yeah, we'll do it. It's a really dark time in American history, and Tucker was the best at pushing back. I always say this, his monologue every night at 8 o'clock, it wasn't just informative or entertaining. It was therapy. We needed someone, a voice of reason, someone to lead the resistance against the madness, against the tyranny we lived through. And that was Tucker. He was brilliant. He was the best at it. He's still brilliant, articulate, if you listen to him. But he just hates Israel. He just hates Netanyahu. He just blames Israel for everything. He doesn't spend any time talking about, the Muslim takeover of New York City or Mamdani or any of the things we're living through in this country. He focuses on Israel every day. Every interview brings on Nick Fuentes and other crazy anti-Semites and Nazis. And anyway, here's the story. You decide if it's true, if it's real. He's been at the White House 3 times. In the 5 weeks prior to the war, he was at the White House visiting Trump 3 times. His son works for Vance, so he's there, and he's a friend of Vance's. And, I didn't have a problem with it. Well, the story making the rounds today is, and again, you decide if you want to believe it, that Trump played him. That's gone viral. Trump had him there because he knew he was talking to people in Tehran. He talks about his relationship with not just Iran, but, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. He said he's buying a place or bought a place, a home in Qatar, which is really bizarre. Anyway, the story is Tucker came to the White House. Trump used him to get intelligence, information, and then fed him something that threw them off the trail, that he used them to give him false information to set up Iran, like telling him, nope, they're not going in, they're not going to bomb, and expected him to report back to Tehran. Man, if that's true, not only is Tucker in real trouble, but what an amazing strategy from the White House. But here's Tucker talking about this. He's under investigation by the DOJ, the CIA. They have his texts. Do they have texts between him and high-ranking officials in Iran before the war? Are they looking at them right now? We don't know, but what if they are? What if he did this? What if he indeed gets taken into custody? That is just going to be the wildest story I think I've ever heard. You decide. Here's Tucker talking about this revelation that they have his text, they've been spying on him, and they know who he's talking to in Iran. Go ahead.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power. And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids. So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it, and that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living, and I'm not going to stop doing that. Nor should I don't think. I'm also an American, so I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it will even become a case.
You can say you can talk to anybody, and for the most part, that's true, but you can't talk to some Iranian official and tell him what Trump told you. Is that the case? I don't know. I hope not. I will always have some respect for Tucker because I like contrarians. I still listen to him and I still wonder. I have one question. If I could sit down with Tucker, I have one question. What happened? Why did you suddenly have this virulent hatred for Netanyahu? Why did you suddenly call Israel the most violent country in the world? Why did you call the Ayatollah a religious leader after he gunned down 36,000 of his own people, after he killed Americans, after he sent his proxies to kill Americans and innocent people, terrorist outfits? He's a terrorist, not a religious leader. Why did you say Hamas is a political organization? And he did. Why did you say Mossad agents were arrested for planting bombs in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, which turned out to be false? Why did you say that unconditional surrender means American troops get to rape women and children? What's the motivation? I appreciate, provocative language and I, again, appreciate contrarians, but that is just crazy. To quote Joe Rogan, that is just effing crazy. We will see, I guess, whether there's something to this. Here's more from Tucker on his, and believe me, there's a lot of people online, a lot of people on social media who are just piling on Tucker and rooting hard for this indictment, which may or may not come. But what if it does? What if they arrest Tucker Carlson for consorting with the enemy? I don't think he's going to be at the White House again anytime soon. But here's Tucker.
This is him explaining why he's making this video.
Why he's telling his side of the story. I mean, he went on with Piers Morgan over the weekend and said much of the same stuff. I mean, he believes Israel dragged us into this war. He believes Israel's controlling Trump, and Trump still, and he still says he loves Trump, but Trump is, he predicted the Operation Midnight Hammer in June would lead to World War III and, tens of thousands of American deaths. He's been wrong about a lot of these predictions, but he predicts this war will be a disaster. That's fine. Lots of people are predicting that and expecting that and hoping for that. But here's him explaining why he's making a video telling his side of the story.
So I'm not making this video to complain about it or whine or ask you to send me money because I'm under attack. I'm saying it because it's true, and you should know what your own government is doing, and you should know what the stakes are. And you should know that a lot of what happens in this country that affects outcomes happens behind the scenes. Some of it is legal, some of it is not, including what I'm describing now. But it has an effect. And the intel agencies, again, not everyone in the intel agencies, because there are decent, hardworking Americans who work in the intel agencies are Americans, just like there are decent, hardworking Americans who work at the DMV. But there are also people with agendas and grudges and no sense of restraint who are happy to misuse the power they have granted them by our elaborate secrecy laws to hurt fellow Americans for ideological reasons. That is entirely real. That's the story of Russiagate. And it's likely that things like that will begin to happen at greater scale now. So you should just know that going forward. Thanks.
Wow. I don't know. He looks a little nervous, and I don't blame him if someone told you they have your texts, even if you weren't consorting with the enemy, if they have all your texts and they're reading them and they're deciding whether to indict you, that would make anybody nervous. But I give him credit for one thing. Man, he has balls. He could sit back and just do his thing and make a fortune and have a good life, but he is sticking his neck out, and I hope he has security. I hope he has airtight security around him, because he is just in the eye of the storm right now, and lots of people want to shut him up. But what are the odds that we found out he was indeed providing intel to Iran? I hope not. I don't want to see that happen, but who knows? He has doubled down before, and I expect him to double down again, and he's not going away, and people are listening to him. He has real influence out there and a real big following. He talked about running for president. He said only one reason he would run for president: to debate Ted Cruz, who he hates more than anyone. He called Christian Zionists. He says he hates them more than anyone in the world, hates Christian Zionists like Ted Cruz. He apologized for that, said he was, angry, and he lost his temper, and he doesn't mean it, but hates Christian Zionists. That's everybody. Every Christian in this country would qualify as a Zionist pretty much. But anyway, that is Tucker, and we will see what happens. All right, we got to get to the Oscars. If you haven't seen it, I hate watched for a few minutes. I saw the memorial where they honor all the people who died in the last year. That's always good. That was good, except Barbara Streisand kind of ruined it when she came out and talked about Robert Redford, but that was good. And of course, Jimmy Kimmel made an appearance. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
A well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, and everyday staples that feel easy to wear and easy to rely on, even as the weather shifts. Quince has the everyday essentials I love, with quality that lasts. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing seasons. The list goes on. Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middleman, so you're not paying brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. Plus, they only partner with factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. I got a couple of Quince shirts, and I'm telling you, I love them. They were inexpensive, and I'm a cheap bastard, so that matters. And they've held up really well after a few washes, good as new. So refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Jerry for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/Jerry. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jerry. I had no big surprises at the Oscars last night. There were a couple of people that came out and said, free Palestine, ice out, but nobody showed their support for the Iranian people or the Iranian women's soccer team, which are probably being executed as we speak. No, wouldn't want to support those women, but one battle after another, one best picture. It sucks. If you haven't seen it yet, it is awful. just disjointed, incoherent, silly. The last half hour, the car chases are just the dumbest, 30 minutes in movie making history. But and Sean Penn was terrible in his role as the evil ICE agent. ICE is bad. Illegal aliens are good. I knew that going in. It's still, I expected that, but I thought this movie would be entertaining. It wasn't. It was terrible. Sinners, the other big Sinners, had a record 16 nominations, 4 wins, including Best Actor for Michael Jordan. One Battle had 6 wins. There was no surprise there, but here's what you need to know is you have to be PC. Now, you have to be tolerant and inclusive and all that to win. Here are the rules for Best Picture now. And just keep this in mind when you look at all the crap they nominated and the crap that won. You have to be diversity inclusive to win the Oscar for Best Picture. You have to be. It's a rule now. Here's the actual rule. At least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors submitted for Oscar consideration is from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. This may include African American, Black, African and or Caribbean descent, East Asian, Hispanic, or Latinx. It says actually Latinx. Indigenous peoples, including Native American, Middle Eastern, North African, Pacific Islander, Southeast Asian, including Bangladeshi, Indian, Nepali, Pakistani, or Sri Lankan. You have to have a Sri Lankan if you want to win. At least 30% of all actors must be from two underrepresented groups, including women. Women are underrepresented. LGBTQ. It's unbelievable to win. In other words, movies that would be ineligible today for Best Picture would be Braveheart, Godfather, The Godfather 1 and 2, Schindler's List, Gladiator, Saving Private Ryan, unless, I don't know, maybe Tom Sizemore was gay. But so some of the best movies ever would no longer be eligible for Best Picture. But when you make a movie glorifying Antifa and demonizing ICE, you're in, baby. When you make a movie like Sinners, where the only white people are evil, they're vampires, you're in. So that's the story of the Oscars. The movies that won fulfilled the diversity quotas, period. To quote Tucker Carlson, period. And of course, Conan O'Brien was not really political. He was fine. But here's Jimmy Kimmel. They brought him out to present short documentary, which never heard of any of them, don't have any interest in them. They're all PC. The one that won was about Russia, bad, Ukraine good. No surprise. But here's Jimmy Kimmel getting political and getting a big round of applause from all his fellow libs in the crowd. Go ahead.
As you know, there are some countries whose leaders don't support free speech. I'm not at liberty to say which. Let's just leave it at North Korea and CBS. Fortunately for all of us, there is an international community of filmmakers dedicated to telling the truth, oftentimes at great risk, to make films that teach us, that call out injustice, that inspire us to take action. And there are also documentaries where you walk around the White House trying on shoes. Here are the nominees for documentary short film.
All right. I ask this all the time. He's got like 75 writers. That's the best. You get 2 minutes. That's the best you can come up with. I mean, didn't you even try to be funny? Did you come up? I mean, there's plenty of material, and that's the best you can come up with. CBS is against free speech, and, Melania trying on shoes. Oh, that's hilarious. And they all clap. Oh, isn't he brilliant? That is the most punchable face in Hollywood, and that's saying something right there. But I don't even know who won Best Short Documentary, but I don't care. It was weak. Again, all the people who died is always good. They did a little tribute. They didn't do enough on Duvall. They did Redford, and gave him a big send off with, and of course, Billy Crystal did a tribute to Rob Reiner, which was fine. You know, he's saying he fought for the underprivileged and all the charity stuff he did, but said he was loving and kind, except when he was wishing death on the president, Rob Reiner. But, you know, Billy Crystal was in Harry Met Sally, and they had a bunch of people who were in Rob Reiner movies, came out and took a bow. It was fine. It was fine. But the movies that won suck, just so you know. Sinners sucks. I'd give Sinners a D, and I'd give One Battle D-. Don't waste your time. Certainly don't waste your money. But do we have time to hear the complete recap of Ironhead's honeymoon?
I was stuck by the Netherlands Navy where I was at. They were patrolling.
The Netherlands Navy? Yeah. I don't think they're participating in the war right now, are they?
I think they were just making sure nothing came their way.
Yeah. Well, good, because, you know, that's important on Aruba. You don't want to be, you don't want them invading Aruba. Aruba is about as American as you can get.
Yes. There is a ton of Patriots fans down there. It's actually kind of wild. There was like Patriots themed bars and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Aruba's great. You know, the whole goal of Aruba is accommodating, you know, gluttonous Americans, making sure they have plenty to eat and drink, and making sure everyone speaks English, making sure you're safe.
Yeah, I was at all inclusive, so I ate plenty.
I'm sure you did. Oh God, I could just picture you. I could hear you getting fatter.
I definitely did. My headphones don't fit anymore.
Oh God. How about the airports? Was that a nightmare?
So I went in. I was supposed to come back Friday. I got through security in 15 minutes, and then my flight got canceled because someone on the crew was sick.
Oh God, that's always good. That's great.
And then I had to go through Saturday, and it took me like 2.5 hours. And that's just because they're not open. They don't open till 9. They have bankers hours.
Well, in America, you should know that you have to wait hours because Democrats shut down Homeland Security. We're being attacked every other day by Muslim terrorists, and Democrats refuse to fund Homeland Security and TSA. It is disgusting. It is despicable, but you're still married, right? You have made it through?
We made it through, yep.
All right, we'll see how long that lasts. But, all right, glad you had fun. Glad you're back. But that will do it for today. We're waiting on that Tucker indictment, and we're waiting to find out how many legs the Ayatollah lost. The suspense is...
I'm more curious how many boyfriends he lost off the side of a roof.
That would be good journalism. Find, you know, the gay bars that he visited. Find the... CNN's got a crew in Tehran. Why don't they go to the LGBT community? Find out whether Ayatollah Jr. was an active member. That would be great. We'll see. But that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
What's the message to Iran?
Don't. What is your message to Iran in this moment?
Don't.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true. I don't care. I don't care.